Donald Trump, a name synonymous with controversy. Even years after leaving the Oval Office, his presence continues to reverberate through American politics and beyond. His words still carry weight, his actions still command attention. From fiery rallies to provocative social media posts, Trump remains a force to be reckoned with, shaping the national dialogue and influencing the political landscape. February 21, 2025, proved to be no exception. The day unfolded with a flurry of activity, highlighting the breadth and depth of Trump's ongoing impact. From clashes with state officials to international pronouncements, the former president remained firmly in the spotlight, his every move scrutinized and debated across the nation. As news outlets tracked his every word and deed, one thing became clear: the Trump saga is far from over. His influence continues to loom large, casting a long shadow over the nation's future. The question remains, what will this enduring legacy ultimately hold? Trump's day began with a characteristic bang, igniting a firestorm of controversy with his attack on Maine's Governor Janet Mills. The issue? Transgender athletes in sports. Trump, never one to shy away from a culture war battle, threatened to withhold federal funding from Maine, accusing the state of undermining fairness in women's sports. Governor Mills, in turn, vowed to fight back, promising legal action against what she deemed an overreach of federal power. The clash over transgender rights is just one front in Trump's ongoing war against what he perceives as liberal overreach. His administration's attempts to defund diversity, equity, and inclusion programs faced a significant setback when a federal judge blocked the executive orders, citing free speech violations. This legal defeat, however, did little to dampen Trump's resolve. He signaled his intention to continue challenging DEI initiatives, directing his Attorney General to investigate their implementation across various institutions. These confrontations highlight the deep partisan divide that continues to plague American politics. Trump, with his penchant for inflammatory rhetoric and divisive policies, appears determined to exploit these divisions, solidifying his base while further alienating his opponents. Beyond the political arena, Trump's influence reverberated through various domestic policy decisions. The Department of Homeland Security saw a major shakeup with the reassignment of acting ICE Director Caleb Vitello. Citing concerns over the slow pace of deportations, the administration removed Vitello, sending a clear message about its commitment to hardline immigration policies. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court, increasingly stacked with Trump appointees, played a pivotal role in shaping the political landscape. The court's decision to temporarily allow Hampton Dellinger, head of the Office of Special Counsel, to remain in his position until February 26, 2025, sent shockwaves through Washington. The case, with its implications for executive power and oversight, is being closely watched as a potential litmus test for the court's ideological leanings. Amidst these high-stakes legal battles, the Trump administration found itself grappling with the fallout from controversial budget cuts. The decision to restore jobs for dozens of National Park Service employees after significant public backlash highlighted the administration's sensitivity to public opinion, at least in certain areas. However, this concession did little to quell concerns about the administration's overall approach to environmental protection and conservation. Trump's penchant for unpredictability was on full display on the international stage. His scathing critique of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, claiming he has no cards in negotiations related to the ongoing war with Russia, sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. This stark assessment, contrasting sharply with praise for Zelensky from U.S. envoy Keith Kellogg, raised concerns about potential rifts within the administration's foreign policy apparatus. Adding to the global uncertainty, Trump announced plans to impose tariffs on countries taxing digital services, a move primarily targeting European nations. This escalation of trade tensions comes amidst ongoing negotiations with China, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent raising concerns about fentanyl trafficking and existing tariffs during a meeting with China's vice premier. These developments underscore the challenges facing the Trump administration on the global stage. From navigating complex geopolitical rivalries to managing trade disputes, Trump's foreign policy approach, characterized by a mix of isolationism and aggressive unilateralism, continues to generate both anxiety and uncertainty among international allies and adversaries alike. Section 5: Economic Tremors, Uncertainty, and Volatility. The ripple effects of Trump's policies continued to be felt in the economic realm. The stock market experienced a significant downturn, with the S&P 500, Dow Jones and Nasdaq all dropping considerably. Analysts attributed this decline to growing concerns over the long-term impact of Trump's trade wars and unpredictable economic policies. Further exacerbating these anxieties, consumer confidence plummeted to new lows, with a nearly 10% drop recorded in February alone. This decline, largely attributed to anxieties over rising prices and potential job losses stemming from escalating trade disputes, paints a bleak picture of the economic outlook under the Trump administration. The confluence of negative economic indicators raises serious questions about the sustainability of Trump's economic agenda. While his supporters point to initial gains in certain sectors, the long-term consequences of his policies, particularly the escalating trade war with China, remain a significant source of concern for businesses and consumers alike. Section 6. Legal challenges and media scrutiny. Trump's confrontational style and controversial policies continued to draw legal challenges and intense media scrutiny. The Associated Press filed a lawsuit against 3 Trump administration officials, alleging obstruction of access to presidential events. This lawsuit, focusing on the White House's refusal to adopt the term Gulf of America in place of Gulf of Mexico, highlights the ongoing battle over press freedom and access during the Trump era. Adding to the legal woes, the Justice Department filed a complaint against Judge Anna Reyes, citing concerns about her conduct during a case challenging Trump's ban on transgender individuals serving in the military. This move, widely perceived as an attempt to intimidate judges critical of the administration's policies, further fueled concerns about the erosion of judicial independence under Trump's watch. The media, for its part, remained relentless in its coverage of the Trump administration, meticulously documenting its every move and highlighting potential conflicts of interest, ethical lapses, and policy missteps. This adversarial relationship, a hallmark of Trump's presidency, showed no signs of abating, with both sides engaged in a constant battle for public opinion. Section 7. A Nation Divided, the Deepening Partisan Rift. The events of February 21, 2025 offered a stark reminder of the deep partisan divisions plaguing American society. Trump's rhetoric and actions seemed deliberately designed to exploit these divisions, rallying his base while further alienating his opponents. The clash over transgender rights, the attempts to dismantle DEI programs, and the administration's hardline stance on immigration all serve to inflame passions on both sides of the political spectrum. The result is a political climate characterized by gridlock, distrust, and animosity, making meaningful dialogue and compromise increasingly elusive. This toxic political environment poses a significant threat to the fabric of American democracy. When dialogue is replaced by demonization and compromise is seen as weakness, the very foundations of a functioning democracy are undermined. Section 8. Looking Ahead, Unpredictability, and the Road Ahead. As the sun set on February 21, 2025, one thing remained abundantly clear. Predictability is not a word one would readily associate with the Trump administration. From his domestic policy maneuvers to his pronouncements on the world stage, Trump continues to keep both allies and adversaries guessing, injecting a level of volatility and uncertainty into national and international affairs. What the future holds remains to be seen. Will Trump's confrontational approach and divisive rhetoric continue to dominate American politics? Will his economic policies lead to sustained growth or exacerbate existing inequalities? These are just some of the questions that hang heavy in the air, their answers shaping the destiny of a nation grappling with profound challenges and uncertainties. One thing is certain, the Trump era, though perhaps nearing its twilight, is far from over. Its echoes will continue to reverberate through the corridors of power, shaping the political, social, and economic landscape for years to come. Section 9. The Trump Legacy, a complex and contested terrain. As historians begin the daunting task of assessing the Trump presidency, they will undoubtedly grapple with a legacy as complex and contradictory as the man himself. His supporters will point to his economic achievements, his bold challenges to the status quo, and his unwavering commitment to his base. His detractors, on the other hand, will highlight his divisive rhetoric, his disregard for democratic norms, and the damage inflicted upon America's standing in the world. The Trump legacy, much like the man himself, will likely remain a subject of intense debate for generations to come. His presidency, a tumultuous period marked by both triumphs and transgressions, will be studied and dissected, praised and condemned, its true impact debated long after the echoes of his rallies have faded away. One thing is certain: love him or loathe him, Donald Trump has left an indelible mark on American history. His presidency, a departure from the norm in so many ways, will continue to fascinate, frustrate, and intrigue long after the final chapter of his story has been written.